Well, good evening, everyone. Meteorologist Michael Wilhite here with Southern Indiana Weather, bringing you just a quick update here on what can be what looks like is going to be our first accumulating snow of the season. Here it is, early January. We're finally getting something. Looks like late Wednesday night into Thursday, we're going to see a little bit of snow around the area. Now, it's not going to be big accumulations, but anytime you see the first accumulating snow around the area, people that haven't driven on snow on on snowy roads in a good little while go crazy. So I do expect there's going to be some problems out of this. I'll be really surprised if there's not. So first off, we did have a weekend system that was set to move through. If you want to know more about that, I covered that in depth in my long range video last night, but nothing really to talk about it much. Other than to say, I think it's probably going to miss us. If you just take a look at the GFS here, the latest one here, there's the little clipper system that's going to move through that we're going to talk about more in depth here in this video. But then you notice here, the Arctic high pressure comes in. It's going to get very cold, and that storm's just suppressed way to the south. This is, last night it was riding right along the Gulf Coast. Now it's got it suppressed even further. I don't think that's right. I think it's going to be a little bit more north than that, but I don't think it's going to hit southern Indiana. I'll be really surprised. The energy actually makes this is going to move onshore on early tomorrow morning. So tomorrow's models, and especially tomorrow evening's models, will have a lot better handle situation on this particular situation. But I do think it can correct itself a little bit more north, but I don't really think it's going to hit us here. Maybe parts of Kentucky and even Tennessee could get in on some action here. That's certainly possible. I still think it could correct that far north. Don't see it. We'll keep you up to date. Bottom line, though, I don't see it as too much of a big threat. I think it's going to be just a cold weekend with Arctic high pressure in place for us, the way things look right now. For us, though, we've got cold air on the way, and that's going to bring some snow showers starting late tomorrow night. So first off, the answer is goodbye to these 50s that we have seen today. They're going, gone. In fact, as we go through the overnight hours here, that Arctic air crashes in. By the time you wake up tomorrow morning, we are in the mid-20s over much of the area, some low 20s as you head a little bit further north, 27 there in Evansville, or in Louisville rather, 24 there in Evansville. That cold air is going to, we'll warm up a little bit tomorrow, but not a whole lot. Here we are by 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and, we've only warmed up to maybe 30, over 30, 31 here. And this is right along the Ohio River. Most of us still hanging out into the 20s. I think 28, 29 going to be a high temperature that most of us are going to reach tomorrow. Many of us won't even reach into the 30s, and I think we'll pretty much all stay below freezing tomorrow. That cold air is going to stick around for a while again. So the bottom line, there will be no rain with this. It'll all be snow. Let's take a look at the high-res solution NAM, and this is the 4-kilometer NAM, the high-res. Just give you an idea of what to expect. There's those showers that we had earlier today moving off, and then as we go in through the day tomorrow, we're going to stay dry, but it'll happen later that night, and that's when you start to see this approaching. So here, this would be 3Z, so this would be about 10 p.m. Eastern time, 9 p.m. Central, and you got that snow starting off to your west, and then it starts to creep in here during the overnight hours, and by the time you wake up 7 a.m. here on Thursday morning, you've got some light snow showers here around the area, and that, of course, continues off and on throughout the day with different little waves coming in. Sometimes some of those waves could be intense before. Here we are at 7 p.m. on Thursday evening before this is starting to pull out of much of the area. Now, that's one future model run. Let's show you the higher resolution version of that, the experimental 3-kilometer NAM. That was the 4-kilometer NAM that I just showed you. This one is a little bit tighter resolution. It's in the experimental stages, but again, it's showing pretty much similar, the same thing during the early overnight hours, Wednesday night into early Thursday morning. The snow starts to sneak into the area, and by the time you're waking up for your morning commute here, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, you got some potentially heavier snow bands over the area, so it could be a very rough Thursday morning commute. And then that lasts much of the day as well until later on in the afternoon. We're starting to see that roll off here. So this actually rolls it off a little bit quicker than what the the lower NAM does. The 3-kilometer NAM takes it out a little bit quicker than the 4-kilometer NAM. So bottom line, it's going to snow either way. And by the way, I don't have all the other models pulled up. It's kind of redundant, but the GFS says we get snow. The Canadian says we get snow. The Euro says we get snow. Everybody's on board for some light accumulating snow. So how much are we talking about here? Well, let me just give you 4 of the models just really quickly to show you kind of what could happen here. Again, I've got here is your this is your This is your 4 kilometer NAM here, your 3 kilometer NAM here, and this is your Canadian and your GFS, I believe. I think that's the way that I set it up. But you can see in general 1 to 2 inches over much of the area. The higher resolution NAMs here start to dial in and focus on some pockets of heavier snow, even some locally 3-inch amounts here, and you see that here pretty close here in the NAM as well. So bottom line, I do think a general 1 to 2 inches is what we can see around the area. And so if you just take a look at my snowcast, what I'm expecting here, I think 1 to 2 inches over across most of southern Indiana is about right. Here into the white, you're probably going to be less than an inch. Locally, I do think that if you get under those heavier bands, yeah, with it being cold and the snow ratio is higher, you could get some 3-inch totals out of this. But I think they're going to be fewer and far between. Generally, a light coating to up to 2 inches around the area, and I think most of us are going to be in the 1 to 2 inch. Don't think this is probably going to be one of those types of situations where you have just an organized snow coming in and you see all these bands. It's going to be spotty snow showers coming through because it's an open wave rather than a closed low that's moving through. So there's probably not going to be nearly as much development with this, but we'll have to see. If we can get some of those heavier bands, we can certainly get up to those higher totals with this. It could very well be an overachiever. So, but in general, I think 1 to 2 inches is probably what you can expect over across most of the area with this one. So again, I do expect that we'll probably see some winter weather advisories issued at some point in time tomorrow with this, and I do think there will be some negative impacts to travel due to the time that it's coming in. The morning commute on Thursday may be worse than what the evening commute is, just because of the temperature difference and all that. And of course, with this being the first accumulating snow of the season, it's probably not going to be one that buries people in for days here, folks. But as well as I do, that some people just act kind of dumb when they're out on the road in this. So just for all of our sakes, folks, slow it down. You have to travel on Thursday. Just slow it down. Give yourself a little extra time. There's no need to drive like a bat out of Hades on snow. There's no need to get yourself killed or somebody else killed as a result of your irresponsible driving. Just slow it down and you'll probably be able to get there. I'm sure the crews will be out working on the roads like they always do during these events. Probably not going to make anything impassable per se, unless you're on a country road that doesn't ever get any treatment. But for the main highways, they'll probably be mostly in good shape, but there will be a few slick spots with this. So just keep that in mind. All right, folks, tomorrow morning I will have another full update, probably another video for you as well with the latest thoughts, updated snowcast if needed as well. So just keep it tuned right here to Southern Indiana Weather on Facebook, and of course follow me on Twitter at SouthernINWX. We'll see you tomorrow.